Hello, everybody, and welcome back to episode 139 of the Everything Moto Racing podcast. I hope you are well. We are recording this early. It's me and Cameron today. Hello.
Hello. I know, it's daylight and it's Sunday. What is happening?
Yeah, it's literally like 3 hours after the race ended. What's going on? Are we okay?
Maybe I'll have a chance of actually remembering what happened, because I watched the racing.
Yay!
And then it was also like it just happened. So maybe I'll actually make sense this week. Who knows?
Fingers crossed. Fingers crossed. Well, we can't work miracles, but...
Yeah.
But yeah, we don't have Lauren this week because she is busy today and I'm busy tomorrow, so it kind of doesn't work for any of us to do it. So it's just me and Cameron today.
Yeah. Oh well.
Hope you can deal with us.
Yeah, that's it. Well, I mean, there's plenty to talk about, and then we've got Magello next week. So
yes. Yeah, I think the main and most important thing to go into, I guess, starting off, would be Aleix Espargaro's announcement on Thursday that he is retiring.
Oh, dearie me. I think it feels right. It feels like it's the right decision, the right time. He's making room for younger, faster riders. He's accomplished so much. I think definitely his career appeared to be on a sort of downward trajectory now. That's not to say that he's slow, but you know, the wins aren't coming. Not that he had loads, but like it feels like they're further away than they were.
You say this after him winning on Saturday.
Yeah. He won the sprint. Okay, yeah. And there was a lot of attrition. But yeah, it was. It feels like the right call. It's sad. Yeah, it's for me the right time to do it.
Yeah, I don't know, because I feel like there's still more life left in him.
Yeah,
and I feel like he could do a bit more, but then it also feels, this is gonna sound horrendous, like not putting down your dog because you kind of love it too much, just by it being in pain every day.
Yeah, what's the quality of life?
Really should get rid of it, but I kind of want to keep it around.
I know what you mean. It would make a great test rider.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it is. It's kind of the grid's too competitive now for people to be doing, like, say, what Rossi did into the latter years of his career, where really the results weren't there to be warranting a factory seat.
Yeah.
It's sad, but I think the way you put it kind of does it does make sense. As brutal
in a
as
horrible way,
it does make sense. Yeah. I
mean, if it makes anybody feel a bit better, I did put my dog down last month, so if anything, I can kind of relate to it.
I don't think that makes anybody feel better. Are you okay? Oh my god.
I'm fine, but yeah. So I kind of know what I mean. I don't know. I can kind of relate to the statement I said. So,
are you actually going to go put Aleix down?
No, God, no, Jesus Christ.
All yeller.
But the thing is with Aleix, it's like you said, like you look at his career and he's had hundreds of starts over the three classes. He spent, was it 2,400 days between his last win, which was the 125cc class in the CEV back in 2004 when he was champion, to Argentina, 2,400 odd days. Mental, but that doesn't tell the story. You know, 3 MotoGP main race victories, 11 podiums, doesn't tell the story of his 11 years at Aprilia, who he brought from being the horrific piece of junk that Bradl and Bautista stepped off.
Yeah.
It was like, what are you doing here, man? This is shocking, to a bike that is winning races and leading Grand Prix with Raul Fernandez on last year's bike as well. Vinales has won a race this year. And it's just top of the table. You know, it's on par with KTM. You say you got like the tier list. Ducati's A tier. Then you got KTM and Aprilia in the B tier. Still pretty close. Just not as consistent and good as the Ducati. And to get it from the bottom tier, from back of the grid, from a bike that you wouldn't want to ride, to where it is now, can, not 100%, of course, but a lot of that can be attributed to Aleix Espargaro and what he's done with the team. He's pushed to get the right people in the places, like Mike Mavola. I'm not even going to try and say his first name, but Massimo, I think it is. Mavola, for example, and getting the right techs in place and the right engineers around, fighting tooth and nail to get Vinales on that Aprilia as well, and just doing everything he can. Because at the end of the day, there was one point where they didn't have a second rider. They had Bradley Smith sometimes riding it a little bit. Then he got replaced by Savadori, who was only riding it not because he was a MotoGP rider, but riding it because they didn't have anyone to put on the bike.
Yeah.
Which is mental.
Well, I mean,
and then
Joe Roberts turned it down recently,
Yeah,
it's really not.
Bazecchi turned it down.
Yeah, it's the culmination of his work has really just started to bear fruit. And then I think it's like that saying of, wisdom is planting trees that, you'll never get to sit in their shade or something like that. It's got that kind of feel to it. He's led Aprilia to this point of being really competitive and on the right track with the right rider and the right setting. It can be the best bike on the grid. Window of operation maybe narrower than the Ducati, and that's why it's still maybe not classed as the best bike on there. But on the right day, it can be. And that is pretty much thanks to Aleix. Yes, there's a whole host of people beneath there, but a consistency of rider and feedback and everything is really, really important. And he's got a hell of a legacy that's different to what you'd expect a rider legacy to be, of just stats and numbers and so many wins and poles. He took an absolute shed of a bike and brought it to the top, really.
Yeah, he did. And
gracias.
Like you say, you'll never be able to kind of reap the rewards, but he has reaped some rewards. He got Aprilia their first win.
Yeah.
He got them their first podium. He got them the things that were important.
Yeah.
And, he's got Aprilia tattooed on his arm now and stuff. I can't remember what he says. I can't remember what it said, but it had the A was red for Aprilia and it was in the font of Aprilia. I think it may have been Capitano with the A and the Aprilia red. But he would make an excellent test rider as well, to earn a bit of money to top that Ferrari up, top that Porsche up, put some petrol in his cars.
Yeah, make sure his kids are comfortable.
It'd be a fantastic cyclist, which I'm sure he'll probably go and do. Mm-hmm. He did say that he's been speaking to all the brands about being a test rider, and he might not go to Aprilia, because now he's in a nice position where he can be a test rider, not race all the seasons, and earn good money from, say, Honda or Yamaha, who are desperate for a ride of their services, with also not having to ride that absolute shed for the whole season. He could just go and ride it for a little bit, provide some feedback, go, that's cool, see you later, I'll take my paycheck now, and earn more than I would have at Aprilia being a test rider. And I wouldn't blame him for doing that either. I think Yamaha or Honda would be absolutely mental to pass up on an opportunity to sign Aleix as a test rider.
Definitely. I mean, well, he's got the CV. He's like, look, I took the Aprilia. Remember the Aprilia?
Yeah.
And now look at it.
And the Suzuki.
Yeah,
remember
exactly.
The Suzuki when it first came in?
Yeah, Suzuki too. He's got a great CV for taking bikes from zero to hero, so to speak.
But not only doing that, doing it on bikes that were not very good. You go back to the Aspar day in 2013 when he was on that CRT, the Power Electronics bike. That again was a shed. And he still was very competitive on it. And a year later on the Forward Yamaha, again, CRT, it was at the hands of Colin Edwards, it was nowhere. Aleix put it on the podium at Aragon. And that's the only open class podium, full stop.
Really? Well, there's another
and that showed,
CV point. Yeah.
Yeah, and that just shows how good he is at riding crap bikes to good places. And it shows actually how genuinely good he is a rider. Yes, he's no giant killer. He's never going to win you a title, barring, obviously, his junior career, he won titles, but he's not going to win you a title in MotoGP. He's not going to be winning your races every week. But what he will do is get decent, consistent results across a season, get a few good results, pole, sprint race, podium, sprint race win, maybe a podium, maybe a win here and there, but provide enough feedback for you to then go and develop the bike so that a rider like Viñales can win on it.
Yeah. Exactly. It'd be an asset to any team that gives them a shot as a test rider.
Yeah,
sure.
And it's mental that he then went and won on Saturday and got pole.
Yeah. Honestly, I'm like livid he announced it after we did our recording last week, because you know me, I'm one for sentiment. And with my predictions, I probably would have said, let's have a wait, Aleix, for, I probably would have said race win or pole, to be fair, rather than sprint. But, you know, lividity announced that after we'd already made our predictions, but there we are.
Always the way. Yeah. It's always the way. Yeah. It was a mental sprint race.
Oh, I couldn't believe what I was seeing.
No, neither could I.
Raul, where did Raul Fernandez?
But some of the moves he was pulling off were insane.
Yeah,
the move for second on Pecco was outstanding, and the move on Acosta, he had no right to be doing that, and he still did it.
Brought it round, and the thing is, he was clearing off as well. I mean, you might say the crash was inevitable because of the pace he was showing, but
yeah, 0.7 gap.
Yeah, like the fact that he was able to do it was really great, and to be honest, what we've been expecting, or not expecting, but what we've been hoping for from Raul since he stepped on that Aprilia. I hope he keeps the form up, because even in the main race, he did all right. What did he get? Sixth? Yeah. Great. Absolutely. Where was Oliveira? 11th or something? Did he even finish?
In top 10. We had 4 Aprilias in top 10, I believe.
Oh, really? Solid.
Yeah, so I think he may have got 10th. But I'm not too sure. Let's have a look.
Yeah, 10th. You're right.
Yeah, I thought so. Yeah, only because I read an email about 5 minutes ago saying 4 Aprilias in top 10.
Mav got 12th though. So
did he?
Yeah. On Sunday anyway.
Yeah. Why on earth does it say 4 Aprilias in top 10?
Pass.
Right, let's read it. 4 Aprilias. Top 4 for Aprilia Racing. So they're just in the top 4. It wasn't 4 Aprilias in the top 10. It was just Aleix getting top 4.
Getting top 4. Right, okay.
Whoops.
Yeah.
Oh dear. Anyway. Yeah, very good race from Raul Fernandez. And you know the best part? He tested the 24 RSGP 2024 the other week. Loved it. Really competitive on it. Today was the last time he'll ride the 23.
Interesting.
Because the plans were at the start of the season to put him on the GP24. Well, not the GP24, but the RSGP24.
Yeah.
At Mugello next weekend. So we could see Raul up there a lot more if what was promised to him gets delivered and he has the same bike as the other 3 riders next weekend.
Yeah, I mean, I think he could quite consistently become top Aprilia, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, he was nearly top Aprilia today.
Yeah, well, if this wasn't Aleix's sort of talisman track, then he probably would have been.
Yeah, he was superb all weekend, and I think that's his best MotoGP result as well. And it's hilarious. It makes me laugh, to be honest, because anyone who's listened to this podcast for a while will know I have been going on about Raul Fernandez for ages. He'll get there. Right, so it's first top 10 today. You know, he's coming. He'll do great. You know, it wasn't his best result because he got Valencia, he got 5th. But, you know, I'm like, he's coming. You know, his worst result this year has been 11th, by the way. Which is already impressive.
It is, actually.
For a guy from the last 2 seasons. He's already outscored his rookie season. The points haven't been added from today yet to Wikipedia, but you get for 6th place, you get, I think it's 11 points. This puts him on 27 points. So he's already halfway to last year's points tally. 6th place gets you 10 points. So 28 points. So that puts him just over halfway to last year's tally, and we're 6 Grand Prix down.
That's impressive.
That's impressive in itself.
Yeah.
And we know what Raul can do because we saw what he can do in Moto 2. And it was a little bit of a slow burner in Moto 3, to be honest, because he came in as a junior world champion In his rookie season in Moto3, he was 19th overall. 19th.
Really?
The year after was the year, because he only did 2 Moto3 seasons, full seasons. The year after was the one where he was 10th, 6th, 3 times in a row, a few more top 10s, and then suddenly Aragon, 5 rounds to the end of the season, podium. Race after that, nowhere near, and then 2 wins. A win at Valencia, another podium at Valencia, and then a win in the last race of the season as well. It was only at the end that he came to the fore, and then he carried that momentum into Moto2, as we saw. And then I think he's had a terrible year on the KTM, as we saw. I think that's dented his confidence. But now, leading a race will massively help his confidence now. And I think now, if he knows and does get the 2024 bike next weekend, I think that'll only help to push him and go, you know what, I actually can fight now.
Yeah.
I actually can do this. And I'm really hoping that is the point of where it turns and he does it, gets the job done, and is the beast that we saw in 2021.
I think it will be, and I think it's like Marc Marquez and Acosta say, you know, they'd rather have the experience of being up there at the front, even if it doesn't last, if you crash or you burn out your tires or whatever. They'd rather be up there at the front and gain that confidence and knowing that they're just as quick. They can do the laps that these top guys are doing. Rather than, you know, just bringing it home safely in 10th or 15th, you know. So yeah, hopefully bit of confidence. Just I really hope he gels with that RSGP 24, because it seems to have been hit and miss for the other guys, especially Oliveira.
God almighty.
But I don't know. Fernandez is kind of different gravy, it seems.
It's interesting because Oliveira and Raul both came from the KTM.
Yeah, true.
And they're 1 point apart in the championship at the moment. Oliveira's on 29, Fernandez is on 28. And so maybe that adaptation from the KTM has also been maybe
possibly
more difficult than it has seemed, especially for a rider of Oliveira's pedigree as well.
Yeah. Well, how old is Oliveira now? Like, how many more chances
30?
do you give him?
Yeah, I think Oliveira's 30 now, which is mental because I remember when he was like a little kid, which is just horrendous because now I feel really old.
But you're younger than him, so...
Yeah, but I remember 29. Yeah, I know, but I still remember watching him and him being like, whatever, and I'm like, these guys are coming to the end of their careers. That means I'm old.
It is bizarre, to be fair, because I'm pretty much the same age as Marc Marquez, and it's like he's pretty much one of the oldest on the grid now, with the exception of maybe Zarco.
The second oldest next year.
Yeah.
Zarco's. Well, the stat is that next year he will be the only rider from the 2014 season left.
Which is
all
wild.
The others are gone. Well, apart from maybe Iannone, who's rumoured to maybe make a comeback. But, yeah.
Nah, surely not.
That's the talk at the moment, that Iannone will come back into Pramac.
I just can't
Whether
see...
it'll happen or not.
Like, where, why? Why would you choose him over all the other talent that's clearly showing they can do it right now?
Yeah, and 2 more points. One, if Bautista retires, Iannone should go to the Aruba squad.
Yeah.
That's where he should go. 2, we talk about riders getting signed and stuff for next year. Is Fermin Aldeguer been signed too early? Is he ready?
I don't know. I don't think so. I think he's... Well, I mean, he's going to go up on a Ducati, and pretty much anybody who goes up on a Ducati sort of does okay, as we've discussed.
Yeah.
I think Furman, again, he's another one of these riders like Raul and dare I say Acosta that are kind of, they've got that extra little something. Furman's maybe more of a slow burner than Acosta. He's maybe more in the sort of Raul camp.
Yeah.
But no, I think they've done the right thing by investing in a really young, clearly hella fast talent. They're sort of doing what they've done with Pecco, like get him on the Pramac, I imagine. Give him a few seasons on that to figure out MotoGP and get used to the big bikes and really get a way of working, and then essentially invest in him. I think he'll be a Pecco's replacement in the factory team if all goes to plan. I think that's maybe the sort of long-term plan for Lenovo Ducati. If they obviously the further in the future it is, the more variables there are. I mean, injuries, stinking performances, who knows? But like, I think if things go the way they want them to, I can imagine Furman being pegged as Pecco's replacement in maybe 4 years.
Yeah, that would make sense. Potentially. I guess we'll have to see. I just thought I'd put the question out because I saw Matt Dunn tweeted about it on Twitter earlier, and I was like, interesting. I don't know, with me, I think one more year in Moto2 wouldn't hurt him, but in the same way, as we discussed last week and the other week, sometimes it's better to send them up a bit early rather than watch them do an Aaron Canet, a Tony Albolino, an Ayagura, and miss the boat slightly. So it's better to have him up now rather than him maybe have a bad-ish season next year and then never get the chance again. Give him the chance now, see if he sinks or swims.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah, but speaking of rookies, actually, we'll stay on the Pedro Acosta train. He had a very good sprint race. The sprint race was good. Apart from Binder obviously crashing and Bagnaia crashing, which was mental.
Yeah.
I could not believe that. Like, what the hell? But it saw Pedro Acosta, of course, inherit third place through no fault of his own, because you have to be there to get the place and you have to cross the line. You know, what is it? To be first, you must finish at the end of the day. And Pedro Acosta got third. And he had an exceptional weekend. You know, he was looking really good in the main race. I was gutted when he crashed. Absolutely gutted for him, because I really think if he had been in the mix of that Martin and Bagnaia battle, it'd have been very interesting because of Pedro's inexperience in that situation. When you're up against Martin, who's just got that flat out speed, and then Bagnaia, who's got the speed and the experience and intelligence to actually be like, because Pecco is, people say he's like not talented and stuff like that. And do I think Pecco is the most talented rider on the grid? No. Do I think he is the most analytical and methodical rider on the grid? Absolutely, without a shadow of a doubt. And that is why he's a 2-time MotoGP world champion. And seeing Pedro Acosta's inexperience up against those factors of each rider's would have been very... And Marquez, obviously, well, he was 9 seconds off the back, so not really. But I think with those three, it would have been really interesting to see, because Pedro would not have been scared of doing a Valentino Rossi-esque overtake in the last corner. Whereas the other two, there's no chance he'd have tried that.
Yeah, I think it's a good point that you make about Pecco being a thinking rider and an analytical rider, because you saw it, and you saw it early on, like through the TV screen today. It was clear that like Martin and Pedro were going to go off and sort of have a little bit of a battle, and things were getting pretty spicy at the start of the race. And you could see Pecco just being like, all right, I mean, I know I've got the pace. Yeah, I'm just going to back off and let you two burn out your tires, push to the limit, essentially, and I'll just keep knocking out these 139s, and I'll see you at the end of the race. And that's exactly what happened. He did a Valentino Rossi, to be honest. Just kind of, happy to follow.
Marc Marquez.
Exactly.
Marquez followed for years, followed riders every lap, just sitting there. Last lap, right, here we go.
Yeah.
See you later.
Yeah, exactly.
I know exactly where you're weak on every corner now. I know which one to pick. Bang, I'll go there. See you later. And Pecco is exactly also very good at that. And it's quite interesting. We go to Moto3 quickly, because David Alonso said he adopted the same approach from Izan Guevara, who did the same at Catalonia a few years ago, just sitting there waiting the whole time before pouncing. He did say that it kind of didn't work because he ended up at the front and just was able to manage the gap anyway at the front. But it's interesting to see that riders. It shows obviously that there is an unwritten set of rules of how to win a race. You would say, and
there's
one
a
of those
playbook
rules
for
is
sure.
doing that. Yeah, and it can still obviously go out of favour for you, and it can still not work. But it does seem like the best way to win a race is to just sit in second But obviously, like I said, there are cons to it. For example, you could sit in second and the rider ahead of you may also have half a second in the back pocket that you don't even realise. And when you go to overtake them, they get past you and just disappear.
Yeah.
But I think that is one of the best ways to win a race. And Pecco is very good at doing that. He does that quite consistently, I think. But when you've got Pedro Acosta in the mix, dive bombing him every chance he can get and not allowing him to try and pull away because Pedro Acosta's right there. Laying, as we saw, he'd lie on the track. So far leaned over that you couldn't even try and go underneath him because you'd be ramming the back of his head.
Yeah, exactly. And it literally makes himself wider. They always talk about, these riders make themselves wide on track, but like he literally does that.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah.
And I would have just loved to see that. But Pedro Acosta, like we say, he's a rookie. He's more than allowed to make these mistakes, especially when he's battling in these sorts of positions. I think he's just an exceptional rider, and I'm very excited to see what the season brings. I'm very intrigued to see what KTM do with him next year, whether they just keep him in gas, put him to the factory. I think Jack Miller really... He's cooked it. Yeah, I think I said it to somebody else in like another group chat I'm in earlier. Whilst the race was on, I'm not going to find it because they spent about an hour chatting about the F1 race, didn't they?
Yeah.
I know. I said that. No, I'm not going to be able to find it. Yeah, here we go. Miller crashes as Acosta battles for the win. Says it all, really. And it does. And we saw a situation with Enea Bastianini as well, we'll go into in a minute. But, it's a rider that's like, oh, are they going to keep their seat or not? And then they go and crash whilst the youngster on the person on the same bike is fighting for the win, when realistically it should be the opposite way around, or the rookie should be at the back, potentially making an unforced error. And Jack Miller, the experienced one, should be the one fighting at the front. Because next year, we said about Marc Marquez being, in 2014, being the only one from the grid. Next year, the three most experienced riders will be Marquez, Vinales, and then Miller.
Really?
For a rider...
Oh, yeah. How time flies. So, oh, my goodness.
Exactly. And so for a rider of Miller's experience to be making the same mistakes every week, the same going to the front at the start of the race, cooking his tyres and disappearing, and making these crashes, doing these crashes is not what you'd expect from a rider who will be the most experienced rider alongside Marc Marquez and Vinales next year, who are both at the front still.
It's a shame because I really rate Miller. I think he's great. He's a great addition to the grid. He's great personality. He's clearly like fast and on his day.
He's rapid,
We easily forget Motegi in 2022 on the Ducati.
Yeah.
He won by like 8 seconds or something.
Yeah, he
clearly like can do it and has something. But it just seems to be this like window of operation that many riders who don't make the top seem to have. And like it just seems to be these guys that are always at the top have this sort of wider window of operation. I think I'm going to get that tattooed on me, I swear to God. But like, they can maybe ride around some issues, or it just seems to work at every track, any condition. They can just seem to be quicker than everybody else. But then it's just there's these, for most others, it just seems like if it's not perfect, then it's not going to work. It's not going to be at the front. And it's a shame that with Miller, it seems to be that if it's not perfect now, then it's ended up in the gravel, which is the worst outcome, unfortunately.
And then you've got his teammate who admittedly has been like, yeah, look, I've been trying to, be the number one at KTM still because Pedro's kind of up there and try and chase that and stuff like that. And then Binder's not a crasher, and he's just crashing his brains out at the moment. And he crashed in the sprint race at P1 as well. Because I was listening to it after qualifying, I think it was, and it was on TNT, and I think they said that Binder had said that he'd spoken to his team and the mechanics. That was it in the interview after qualifying, because it said he spoke to his mechanics and stuff and was like, yeah, we're putting this crashes behind me now. I've crashed twice on Friday, destroyed 2 bikes. Really sorry to them. Really thankful for the guys. That's it. Going to put them behind me. I'm not going to do this now. I've been riding over the limit because, I want to be up there. And then he goes and crashes at P1.
Yep.
And you're like, bro, what are you doing, man? Like, Binder.
It's a shame. Such a shame. Is he not? No, Is he not the most frequent crasher at the moment as well? Has he got the most crashes?
Yes. Yeah, he's got 10 crashes this year. I didn't see warm up this morning, so I don't know if he crashed in the morning. But he finished 8th today. But yeah, 10 crashes minimum to his name.
That's
after 6 Grand Prix.
It's not the one when you've got the rookie on the satellite bike. I know it's kind of the same bike, but it's not got the same backing and engineers and everything. It does. Something needs to happen for Brad, because you got to think, like, as we said last week, there's got to be something in his contract that says if the results aren't there, then you can be punted down to punted to the gas in favor of a faster rider. Like a Jorge Martin, for example.
Yeah, that's it. Because we look at we'll go into it now. Because we look at Ducati, and you go, it's a bit tricky. This, we don't know what to do. It seems like Pramac will keep both bikes now. Jorge Martin doesn't want to stay at Pramac. Nothing to do with Pramac. Just wants a factory bike.
Yeah,
and you go, oh, you know what? I think the ideal situation, and even Pecco has said the ideal situation would be to have Bastianini in the box next year. And you go, you know what? Give Marc Marquez a Pramac seat or a GP25 in Gresini on the same bike as everybody else is, and Martin can go and do whatever the hell he wants to do. Maybe go to Aprilia because the seat's open there. KTM, keep Red Bull. And it's all happy families, and Anea gets to stay where he is. Great. Furman gets a seat in Pramac. Bosh. Done. Dusted. Easy. But Enea Bastianini did the same thing that kind of Jack Miller did today, but in a different way. Enea Bastianini got a long lap penalty because, yes, he got punted off track and probably thought, that's not fair that I've got a long lap penalty after getting punted off track by Alex Marquez. Fair enough. You get your long lap penalty. It'll add 3 seconds to your time. Just deal with it, I guess. No, not going to do that. Not going to do a long lap penalty. Gets punted off track again by Alex Marquez, which would wind me up as well, to be honest.
Oh, jeez.
But then he refuses to do a long lap penalty. So give him a double long lap penalty. No, I'm not doing that either. Ride through penalty. No, I'm not doing that either. Gets a 22-second penalty added to his race time. Puts him from like 6th to 18th out of the points.
Yeah.
You are a rider in the factory Ducati squad. There are brands on your suit that you're wearing that are paying millions to be there.
Yep.
And you are, 1, not following rules set by the championship. 2, you're finishing 18th because of that. When the podium is made up of the 2 guys who are threatening to take your seat next year. And the best you can do is ignore the rules and finish 18th.
It's not a nice situation. I think, like,
no,
today, absolutely. If his fate wasn't already sealed,
that's a final nail.
Then that was absolutely it. Because like you say, the factory Ducati squad, very minimum. If the results aren't quite where they want them to be, at very least you got to show you can follow the fundamental rules of the sport.
Rules.
Yeah, it's a maturity thing, which is a shame. Because I rate Enea. I think he's,
superb.
Yeah, going back
absolutely
to 2022.
Outstanding talent.
Yeah, like when he was on that Gresini, we thought, yeah, this is the perfect man to take it to Pecco. And it's been a bit of a sad fall from grace, really, I think. And people are so quick to forget. They really are.
Yeah. Well, I said it when he joined the factory team. I was like, it's the cursed seat. That number 2 seat is cursed. Whoever goes in that seat, cursed. And we were like, well, Enea has been as exceptional on that Gresini bike. Surely he could be the one to break the curse. And the curse has continued.
Yep.
And an additional point to that is, on the last 3 races, have seen a Ducati 1, 2, 3. Jerez, it was Bagnaia, Marquez, Bezzecchi. Last time out was Martin, Marquez, Pecco. This time it was Bagnaia, Martin, Marquez. Where is Enea? Enea was on the podium the race before.
Yeah.
Sure.
Granted, he was
Enea
fourth last time, wasn't he? Was he fourth?
So it was 4th in France, 5th in Spain, 3rd in America, 2nd in Portimao, 5th in Qatar. Those are the results you would expect Marc Marquez to be doing on a year-old bike. And those would be a solid season. That would be a very solid season for a Marc Marquez on last year's bike. But that's not the case. Marquez is on last year's bike with barely any updates on it and is on the podium for the last 3 rounds. And Enea is top 5ing it, or 18th, as we saw today, on the most updated bike and the best bike on the grid.
Yeah, that's it.
Martin
the factory team
is on... Yeah. And Martin's on the exact same bike. And he's leading the championship by like 39 points.
Yeah. It really is wild. Like the factory team of the best bike on the grid should be podium every single weekend. Not necessarily 1, 2, but both bikes on the box.
You can have a mistake here and there and have a bad weekend, sure. But you should be in that top 3 of the championship, not 20 points behind Marquez, sat in 4th place.
Yeah. Shocking. But anyway, it's a shame.
Yeah. But that's the thing. I think Miller sealed his fate today. And I think Enea sealed his fate today. And the whole thing with Martinez, I think he could go to the factory squad and be a very good asset. Will he sell many motorbikes for them? Not sure. He's not that much of a fan favourite. He could go to Aprilia or KTM, do quite well, and retain Red Bull. Marc Marquez then would be the best option. He would sell the most Ducatis. He'd be the most marketable. And why would you want, as Ducati, why would you want to give Marquez a GP25 in Gresini or Pramac and then have him beat your number 1 team
exactly
on that bike? No, you want to have him in your top squad beating everybody else on the bike that you have given him in your colours. If he's destroying Pecco, that's fine because he's in the same colours as him.
Yeah,
but they have the issue, obviously, of Monster Energy, but as Gavin Emmett said on TNT Sports earlier, that can be sorted. Marc Marquez released a new merchandising thing, some clothes basically, and some caps and stuff this weekend at the Monster Energy Grand Prix of Catalonia. And these caps, especially for this event, have Red Bull logos on them, and the t-shirts have Red Bull logos on them. And like an actual Red Bull, not just like on the chin of his helmet, like an actual logo. And Red Bull don't put their logos on things. Red Bull are very protective. They'll put them on the gas merch you can buy. They'll put them on the caps you can buy from KTM because they're a team sponsor and it's a team replica jacket.
Yeah.
Putting them on a rider's merchandise doesn't happen. You see it with Monster. Enea's got caps with Monster on them. Fabio's got caps with Monster on them. Valentino Rossi caps with Monster on them. Monster chuck the logo on everything. Red Bull are the opposite, and they are like, no, you're not touching our logo. You're not putting it anywhere. You can buy Monster Energy replica helmets from Fabio with the Monster claw on it and stuff.
Yeah.
The other year, HJC, for the first time ever, managed to get a deal with Red Bull and have some Red Bull logos on the helmet, but it says Red Bull Grand Prix of the Americas, not just Red Bull. So there's always that little thing in there that's like, it's not a Red Bull helmet because it's a special helmet for the Grand Prix of Americas, whereas a Fabio one is just Monster Energy. So the fact that Marquez has had a deal with Red Bull now to do merchandise with Red Bull on it further strengthens his position with the brand and further creates another issue of either Monster buying out his contract, which I don't think they'll do because Mark is... you go on the Rebel... I'm going to do this right now. I'm going to create a brand new tab in incognito.
Whoa. Fresh.
And go onto Red Bull Athletes page, right?
Yeah.
Red Bull Athletes, and go to accept all, right? Red Bull Athletes, top page on Google. The very first athlete on the page, they've got massive list. They've got footballers, Trent Alexander-Arnold, they've got Max Verstappen. The first one that comes up, Marc Marquez. The number one is Marc Marquez. Do it yourself if you want. Go create a thingamajiggy, incognito tab and just type Red Bull Athletes and go on it. He's the first. Max Verstappen's 5th.
What?
Marquez is number 1.
Where's Danny McGaskill?
Oh god, he's not. But this is the thing. So they've got a big list, but they've highlighted 10 athletes, and Marquez is number 1 on the highlighted athletes.
Jeez,
have you seen it yourself?
Yeah, he's right there. First,
he's number 1 for the highlight. Not even just these are athletes. The highlighted athletes, he's number 1. Monster Energy aren't gonna. They're not gonna get him. I can't see a world where Marquez will have a Monster Energy logo on him. So either as a team sponsor of Ducati for their MX squads now, the World Superbikes efforts and the MotoGP efforts, they either run one bike with Monster for Pecco and no logos on Marquez, or they drop Monster completely from the MotoGP plan, or they don't hire Marc Marquez. And that comes into Ducati. What do Ducati want more? To sell bikes, have Marc Marquez on your bike, or have a Monster Energy logo on your bike? Because maybe I'm talking rubbish, and maybe for a certain amount of money, Marquez can be bought. Ken Roxon is one of Red Bull's oldest athletes, and even he said on the post, somebody said, if Monster Energy came along, another brand, and offered you loads of money, would you take it? And Ken was like, I'd always be loyal to Red Bull, but, sometimes money can change things. But as we've seen, Marquez has enough money to throw 25 million up the road and say, there you go, Honda, I don't want it, I'm going over here. That I don't know if money could pull him away, especially when his manager worked for Red Bull quite high up as well. There's so much vested interest around the brand that I can't see it.
I think, purely talking about the numbers, the finances, which really is what it kind of all comes down to. So Marquez sells you bikes, more so than Martin. They can probably get him kind of for cheaps, especially compared to Martin, because Marquez isn't in it for the money anymore. He just wants the latest, most competitive package on the grid. So they could probably get him for cheaps as a rider. There's potentially also the money that could be involved with actually making Red Bull the energy drink sponsor for the Lenovo team. That could come with it. Which, I mean, I don't know this for certain, but I feel like Red Bull would have more money to throw at it than Monster if it really came to it. Or who would be willing to write the biggest check? Feel like it would be Red Bull. Would Pecco want to be a Red Bull athlete? I don't know.
No.
Tricky one.
It's tricky, isn't it?
It'll be interesting, but that is the main hurdle right now. If it wasn't an issue, then I would be fully saying, I think Marquez is going to go to that factory seat.
Yeah, I could see Martin dropping Red Bull despite them saving his career. I could see Martin doing it. I could genuinely see Martin doing it. But Marc Marquez being with Red Bull since he was 15, he's now 31. So more than half his life with the brand.
Yeah.
He's a bloody number 1 athlete when you go on the webpage. There's too much riding, and it's not just money at this point. It's an actual dedication to the brand. It's quite ironic, actually, because I've got a Red Bull athlete cap sat right in the back of the frame.
Aww.
Yeah, that's quite funny, actually. Obviously, you can't see it on the camera, but
I think people listening to this or maybe weighing into this argument would be like, well, he's dropped one sort of almost lifetime brand of Honda, but the difference is he's not riding an energy drink around the track. He kind of had to drop Honda to remain competitive. And you saw how hard that was for him. like literally the machine he was on that was going to make or break his career. And I bet he's looking at this going, that was absolutely the right call, because the Honda's just been a shed this year. So if it was hard for him to drop the worst bike on the grid, really, then yeah, I think like the energy drink sponsor that's like you say, been with him for more than half his life and being fundamental in his success, I can't see him being bought out of that, really.
No, neither can I. But stranger things have happened.
It's true.
But he did have an exceptional weekend. Like we say it every weekend, but 14th, I was like, he's done, mate. Like, no chance. Even Neil Hodgson said before the sprint race, he was like, there is no way Marc Marquez is finishing second today. No way. And he goes and finishes second. And you're like, every time you kind of doubt the man. Every time you're like, oh. And fair play to Neil Hodgson, by the way, because he did go, after the race, he made a joke of it. It was like, there's no way Marquez is finishing second. And Ossie was like, yeah, which fair play to Neil to actually like come back on that and be like, I was wrong. But yeah, you doubt him and he just proves you wrong.
Yeah, absolutely.
And he did it Saturday, and then Sunday, it was like, after about 5 or 6 laps, he was still 10th or 11th, 8th by Morbidelli. And I was like, that's it. I think now I'll finish 6th. That's solid. No, he finished third, didn't he?
Yeah. He only had one wing in the sprint as well.
Yeah, he did. And because you look at him, and he struggles on the Fridays, as we know, and that's the important day to get your qualifying Q1, Q2. Yeah. But Frankie Cargetti has said that he struggles, firstly, on the first few laps on the Ducati, which obviously doesn't help. And then additionally, they can't use any of the other data that they've got from last year. No. Because his riding style and the way he rides the bike is so different to anybody else that it doesn't translate. It'd be like using KTM data to see what Marquez can do on the Ducati. It's that different. And so they're kind of just having to take it each track as it comes. Next year, they'll have more data and then can use that to then for their advantage. But at the moment, it's just get to the track and we'll see how it goes then. But yeah, it's very impressive, to be honest, and he's doing himself a solid to get that factory seat if Martin doesn't want it. And Marquez would deserve a factory bike. I would like to see him maybe on a Pramac. That would be fine. But I think he's very much at home in Gresini as well, and that's also where it comes into play.
For me, I think if Ducati will give him a GP25 next year, and just let him stay in Gresini and keep Frankie Cargetti, because like he's a bloody wizard as well.
Well, Carcetti's a Ducati employee, so he'll follow Marquez around, so that's good.
Oh well, there you go. Okay. Still though, I think like we say that second seat in the factory Ducati team is a cursed seat. It's such a high pressure environment, and I feel like Marc is he doesn't want it anymore. He just wants to enjoy racing.
Yeah. Marquez has dealt with pressure though to another level than that Ducati can give. I think the pressure because the pressure is to win races and finish on top. That's what Marquez has done since he was about 15 years old. So I don't see that being a problem. For him and only him.
You might be right. I think, I don't know. You're right. Like, he would be fine with the pressure. He'd handle it. But does he want it?
Fabio Digia did very well as well. He was on screen quite a lot. 5th place overall. Kind of went under the radar a little bit, I think, because of everything else that happened. But he's had some very good rides recently, Digia. He's 9th. No, he's not. I'm not going to use Wikipedia to tell you where he is because he's not updated the page. But in the championship, he is currently sat in 9th. Ahead of Bezzecchi by 20 points. So he's actually the number 1 VR46 rider in that team.
Good start.
And he's doing very well. Like, he's had a 5th. He's actually not finished out of the top 10 this year.
It's solid.
He's in a top 10 every race.
Yeah. Like, he's having such a solid season, but he's being outshone by like the headlines are going to Mark and Pedro and maybe today Raul as well. But I mean, he finished ahead of Raul. Yeah, like it's solid, it's good. But then someone on it's a GP23 they're on, fair. But like, yeah, I think he's doing what we expected or what we'd hoped he would do.
Yeah, absolutely he is, and he's doing really well. Like maybe expected a little bit more because he won a race last year, but the 23 is not the best bike to be on. It was very good last year, but there was a lot of issues that Ryder complained about that have then been fixed on the 24. And you're seeing Bezzecchi struggling on the 23 because of it.
Yeah.
Alex Marquez hasn't been able to do what he did last year. Marc Marquez obviously has, and I think that's just because he's Marc Marquez. But if you're not on a GP24, you're kind of on par with the KTMs and Aprilias for that consistency, I think.
Yeah, I think so.
And for the package he's on, he's been doing really well. And I think a few more good races like that, and he could be at the front. I don't know, because it's Martin, Bagnaia, and Marquez. It's not a quartet. What's a trio? There you go. That trio. It's like in World Superbike the other year, and it was Top Back, Batista, and Raya.
Yeah.
Kind of locked out for the podium every weekend. It's kind of like that at the moment. So it'd be interesting to see if he can try and break into that top 3.
Yeah, I think so. Like, as we mentioned a couple of weeks ago, I think the was it Jerez? We really, I think we solidified who the actual top 3 title contenders are, and I think that again was solidified today, like properly.
Yes.
But it would be nice to start seeing a bit more consistency from those who we know have the pace, and they maybe just need that 1% from their bike, like Zadigia, like Vinales, maybe even Alex Marquez. But he's never really been a consistent front runner. Even Bastianini. Is Bastianini still 4th?
Yeah, he's 4th in the standings, but 20 full points behind Marquez in 3rd.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, it'd be nice to start seeing Digia come good. And we're coming to Mugello, where he always does pretty well. So
you got Pole as a rookie there, didn't he?
He sure did. Yeah.
So we'll see there. Another Ducati rider doing well is Frankie Morbidelli. Gutted to see him crash today.
I know. He did have decent pace. He wasn't quite able to keep Mark behind him, but it was nice. Yeah, like, it's good. It's good. More of that, please. Especially, again, coming to Mugello.
Yes, absolutely. And we'll have some cool helmet designs next weekend as well.
Have we got any nice liveries coming, do we know? Or are they usually Misano?
VR46 normally has a Mugello livery. Pramax livery was cool this weekend.
It was cool, actually.
It's like hand-painted.
Yeah.
It reminded me of Repsol Honda at Aragon in 2012. I don't know if you remember that.
Oh, I can't picture it. I had just gone to uni, so I don't think I was watching MotoGP.
Fair enough. So Repsol Honda Aragon 2012 also had like a design that looked like it'd been like drawn. Let's see if I can send you a link to the photo, because I don't know if I can send photos there.
Go on then.
There you go. There's a little link to the photo so you can see what I mean.
It's not clickable though. I've got to copy paste.
Oh, that's annoying.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember that actually. That's sick.
Yeah.
Yeah. It looks like it was done with electrical tape.
It does.
Text.
The Repsol one, yeah.
Yeah. Brilliant.
It's like when you see those dodgy electrical tape numbers that riders have when they're club racing.
Yeah. All for it. All for it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I think was it 20? Oh, it's 2011, sorry. I do apologise. But yeah, it reminded me of that a little bit. I did like the livery. It looked pretty cool, actually. Yeah. It's a bit funky. But yeah, so maybe some interesting liveries next weekend for the VR46 squad, potentially. Yeah, an additional one to that. Quick, 2 more things. If we're going to Moto2, Moto3.
Yeah.
Pecco Bagnaia won Ducati's race today, obviously, or the race on a Ducati, and it was Ducati's 92nd victory in the class.
Oh.
I think you know what I'm going to say.
I do know what you're going to say.
So can Marc Marquez, right? Because I'm trying to desperately get the email up now. There we go. It was done by Off Bikes because they're amazing. Who said that? Obviously today was the 90-second Ducati victory for Bagnaia. So Casey Stoner took the 27th Ducati win on the number 27 bike.
Yeah.
Bagnaia took the 63rd win with number 63. Bazecchi took the 72nd win with 72. And Martin won the 89th win with the 89 number. Ducati have a number 93, just saying.
Oh, the thing is, Mugello's not his track.
Let's see where he's finished there in the last few years. Because I remember, this is years ago, I think it was 2015 actually, the first time we ever saw Marquez look angry, annoyed or upset, I think it must have been 2015, when he was in Q1 and he was in the top 2, and then Yoni Hernandez in the last second stole that last spot and demoted him to 13th.
Oh.
And he was in the garage and he was angry. You could see him like, for goodness sake, he'd just walk off, storm off. And you're like, oof, that's the first time you'd seen Marquez a bit angry.
Yeah. I don't know. It's not his track. I can't see it, but it would be sick.
Yeah, so last year crashed at Mugello.
Oh, yeah. He was doing well, though. But he was on the Honda.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. And then the year before that, 10th. The year before that, a crash, because I think that was when he crashed coming down the hill. I remember the crash. I couldn't tell you what corner it is. I love Mugello, though. Mugello's my favourite track in the world, by the way. So I'm so excited for next weekend. Then 2020 was a write-off. 2019, he got second. That was that battle with Jorge Lorenzo, I believe. Then 18... No, I think it was 2016. Think about it.
It's Petrucci and
Dovi. Yeah,
that one.
It's 2016. He scrapped with, but yeah, he's actually. I'm just looking now. The last time he won a Mugello to actually stop us going through this was 2014. He crashed there as a rookie. I remember that. 2015 crashed. 16 second. 17 sixth. 18 16th. So he's never, apart from 2014, that's his only victory at Mugello.
Wow. Yeah, as poetic and romantic as it would be, I can't see it. I think this is it's going to be a tough weekend for Marc, I'm afraid. I think. Yeah, I'd love him to prove me wrong, but meh.
Yeah, meh. We shall see. We shall see. And one more thing before we go on to Moto3. Speaking to TNT Sports after the MotoGP race, Jorge Martin said he is the better rider of him and Bagnaia.
Define better. I think he's faster. Like out and out, I think he's faster. But as we saw today, there's more to it than your raw speed. You got to use your head as well, and that's maybe where Pecco has
excelled. Because Martin sometimes doesn't use that noggin and makes stupid mistakes, like we saw at Jerez.
Indeed. So that's it. Like, how do you define better?
Yeah, that's a very good answer, because I wouldn't know of the two who would be classed as better. Like, Martin, again, raw speed, sure. I think he wins that one. But who wins it on raw talent? Maybe Martin. But then you can have all talent in the world, David Munoz. But if you can't do anything with it, you're not going to really do anything. You know?
Well, that's it. I feel like if Pecco and Martin were suddenly plonked on the same machinery.
Well, they technically are.
Well, no, but like same everything, same
setup, same everything.
Yeah, if they were both just stuck on a stock 600, the exact same bike, I feel like Martin would get more out of it quicker.
Yes, yeah, he would.
M-hole.
Yeah, I think so. But yeah, moving to Moto2.
Bit boring.
That was a crashful race, wasn't it? There was a lot of crashes.
Yeah. Yeah, it wasn't the most
crashes.
entertaining race, but like a lot to talk about. Like I say, a lot of crashes. The attrition was wild, I
was gutted for Daniel Munoz, who was qualified 6th as well in his second ever Grand Prix. That was superb.
Impressive, very impressive.
Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, he crashed. Vietti crashed out of 5th. Canet crashed. Aldeguer crashed doing his long lap penalty as well. Marcos Ramirez disqualified.
What, sorry?
So yeah, we'll say about Furman quick. Yeah, him crashing his long lap is mental.
Yeah, like, way to just throw it away.
Yeah.
Just practice the long lap, even if if you're not intending it, or if you're not intending to have to do one, or you've not got any kind of penalty before the race, just have a quick little run around the long lap. Get in the sessions before, get a feel for it, just in case, because otherwise this happens. Exactly.
Yeah, and you end up making a stupid crash for absolutely no reason at all. Yeah, so Marcos Ramirez has been disqualified.
Why?
It's a bit dodgy, isn't it? So it may have been a mistake, to be fair, and that's not fair on Marcos. That is tough. So he was disqualified before every race. They're allocated tyres, and they're all given an individual barcode that's like, that is your tyre. No one else is your tyre. That's your allocation for the weekend. You have, say, 6 tyres. If you burn through them all by Saturday, then you've got to use used tyres for the race. Yeah. You've got to save tyres for the race, blah, 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 blah. That's how it kind of works. He was found to be using a rear tyre from Joe Roberts.
Come on.
Either someone's accidentally put that on.
Yeah.
Yeah, either someone's put that on accidentally, or he's run out of tyres and they're like, you know what, we'll try and sneak this one through. But that is a shame for Marcos Ramirez.
Disqualification?
Yeah.
Oh,
that
wild. Is brutal.
But it did mean that Adji gets his first Moto2 point.
Yay.
So not mad for him, but it was a very good race. So Ayagura, absolutely sensational ride from 10th to 1st. Seems Beautiful to be doing some very good comebacks, Marc Marquez-esque. Jeremy Alcoba from 22nd to 4th.
Yeah.
Was outstanding.
Solid. Very, very solid.
And again, Senna Aegis as well, who's a rookie. He's like 19, I think. That was super. We said last weekend, the WP suspension is terrible. Riders are struggling left, right, and centre on it. They can't do it. And then Dixon goes and gets his first points of the season on the podium. Aegis 5th. Vietti on the front row. You're like, okay, maybe it's good around here.
Yeah, must have been the track. It had to be, like, for them all to suddenly be improving like that. The low grip track or whatever must have done something.
Yeah, because it was low grip definitely would have helped. But it was another 1-2 for the empty helmet squad because Sergio Garcia kind of cooked his tyre at the end. But
yeah,
a very, very good ride from Sergio Garcia, who pretty much led every lap apart from the important one. But he's looking very good. Joe Roberts down the order in 8th means that he's lost quite a lot of points in the championship now.
Yeah, that's a shame.
And it's going very much in the favour. Obviously, it's still got a lot of rounds left, but it's very much now in the favour of. So good. Oh, God, I was going to say, I don't even know what I was going to try and say then. But in Sergio Garcia has a 19-point lead now.
It's getting nice, and you have to say he's been consistent. I can't think of where we're going to go that he's not going to be able to show decent pace and be finishing in good points everywhere. So,
something quite interesting that I just clocked: Aldeguer and Lopez are on identical points of 63.
Interesting.
So, should Lopez get a MotoGP seat?
Maybe. I mean, I think he will at one point, just maybe not next year.
No, yeah, that's true. But yeah, it was great to see Dixon back on the podium, especially because he copped a load of slack on social media recently from certain people.
Yeah.
So it was nice to see him back on the podium. Yeah, maybe. Yeah. If you are listening, Jake, well done.
Yeah.
But
Good to see.
very good drive from Jake to get third. I think he deserved that. He's a nice little interview after about saying, what was it? A bit of motivational talk
Yeah, it
about
was.
if you're ever feeling down, just keep going and stuff. I was like, yeah,
Pick yourself up.
That's nice.
It's true.
Yeah,
It's true.
it is true. I like it.
Ignore
I like
the
it.
haters.
Yeah, that's it. But yeah, then moving to Moto 3, it was, of course, David Alonso who has destroyed everyone for quite a while now. Pretty much every session he leads at the moment.
Yeah, it was silly the sort of times that he was putting in practice and in qualifying. It was just, it's like he was on a different class of machine sometimes. It was wild.
Yeah, absolutely. He was outstanding, and I'm really impressed. I think that he can go all the way to the championship. I don't see why not.
Absolutely.
He's now leading the championship as well.
Yeah, no, I think Holgado seems to have not gone off the boil, but like we haven't really talked about Holgado much in the last few rounds. Am I right in saying?
Yeah, I think we haven't. Let's have a look. Moto3 Championship standings quickly. Let's have a look. So there's only 14 points in it now. That's huge. I didn't think it was that much. I thought it was like 1 or 2. So Holgado finished the race in 6th, which isn't bad, but
no.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Actually, I'm not even going to say it. I'm just going to get it up on the screen instead so I can be right.
Goodness me.
Because what's what we prefer. Yeah, David Alonso has won 4 of 6 races this year.
Yeah, this is his title to lose. Absolutely.
Yeah, and that consistency is matched by nobody at the moment.
Agreed. And the thing is, like, you're saying Holgado did well in 6th, and like it is good. And typically in a Moto3 race, coming 6th is like a second from the winner. Maybe not even. You could have a train of like 8, 9, 10 bikes, whatever. But he was 2 seconds from David Munoz in 5th. So, and he was over 3 seconds from the win. So it's like, yeah, like he did all right. But in terms of what we typically see from a Moto3 race, it wasn't like he should have been within half a second of the win, really, in the lead group. But he weren't, and it's a little concerning.
Slightly. I don't think it's anything to be like, oh God.
No.
But we saw last year he had a very good start and then, not say bottled it, but lost his momentum as the season went on. And I'm slightly worried of that happening again.
Nah.
He likes this bike a lot. He tested this bike at Silverstone last year and was like, I can win the championship on it, which is why he stayed in Moto3. He needs to then back up those claims. And with a rider as strong as Alonso winning races, it'll be hard to do that, which is why P6 isn't good enough. You have to be on the podium every race to win that championship. Johan Mir proved that. People say Johan Mir didn't deserve his title. He was on their podium every time. He was there every race.
Yeah. Someone had to win it.
Points make prizes. Yeah.
That's it.
At the end of the day, yes, in MotoGP at the moment, Jorge Martin's running away with it. But Pecco winning the race today and Marquez being on the podium means that Jorge Martin isn't allowed to run away with it as fast as he possibly could because they've still got him on the leash and they're still holding that leash quite tightly. If they're finishing 10th, that leash is quite slack because it's like, yeah, you can go, you run away. So you need to be on the podium every time, and that's how you win a title, and that's David Alonso. He's only won races this year. He's not finished 2nd or 3rd. He crashed at Jerez out of 1st, still finished 11th. And then in Portimao, he finished 4th. That sort of consistency is unrivaled this year. Via is 3rd in the championship, and it's currently sat on, I think I've lost it. Yeah, I have. Bear with me a second. I should really have
problem.
Separate tabs, to be honest. But save time. So Alonso has 118 points in 1st, Holgado 2nd with 104. And then Via in 3rd is on 75 points. So that's what? Quick maths. Like 29 points back.
Yeah.
29 points back in third. Because no one's got the
claw that,
consistency.
though. I think he'll claw that back because Vire's been pretty consistently in the top 5 or like running that kind of pace. I think he'll claw it back, at least to Holgado. I think I don't think he'll match Alonso and claw that kind of gap back.
No. It'll be interesting to see, really, but I guess we'll see. But another impressive ride for Luca Lunetta as well, as a rookie.
Was just about to say, yeah, that was really great, actually. Proper good ride there.
Yeah, very solid as are Rulestone and Ferroli in the top 10.
Yep, lovely stuff.
And gutted for Frosato.
Yeah,
he had a podium in him, I think.
He did. His pace was really solid. Did we get footage of what actually happened?
I think he just crashed in a long lap, didn't he? I don't know, actually. I just remember seeing him walking off in the gravel, but that was about it.
Yeah, I remember.
He had a double long lap, I know that.
Yeah, I saw him like... I'm pretty sure he completed his long lap, but then I don't know, maybe something with the rejoining or... was just pushing a bit too hard to make up the ground he'd lost. I don't know. A shame, because he showed bits of this at Qatar, and then it sort of went away from him a bit.
Yeah, he needs to be back up there, really, because he is fast. He just needs to work on that consistency, I think.
Yep.
Right, moving on to predictions now. The meat and potatoes of this podcast. So, we were absolutely appalling, by the way.
Yeah.
So, shocking. In Moto 3, I'm going to whiz through it because there is no point scored, right? Heading into the weekend, I lead with 242 points, Cameron second with 200, and Lauren third with 189. In Moto 3, the only one correct was David Alonso winning, and that was me.
Good job.
So I get 25 points. You and Lauren got fat zeros, but me and Lauren put Esteban on the podium for some reason.
Oh.
Because he got a podium in Junior GP last year, probably. And that was literally it. It was Ortola who got the actual pole, and then Rueda third, Ortola second, and Alonso first. I get 25 points, I'm up to 267.
All right,
then in Moto 2, the only result that was correct was Garcia in second from you, Cameron.
Lovely.
And that gets you 20 points, so you're up to 220. Lauren, 189. And then in MotoGP, the only ones that were correct was Lauren getting Marquez third and Martin second. That was it. So she netted 36 points. So the standings after Catalonia are myself with 267, Lauren with 225, and Cameron with 220.
Disgusting.
Yeah, her 36 points scored have leapfrogged you.
I'm not taking that line down.
No. So Mugello is where the points are going to have to be made up.
Right then.
And she did say to tell everyone how happy in exclamation mark, no, in capital letters, I am to get both Marquez and Wright in the GP. So, yeah.
Did she say that? Let's see.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I see the message.
Yeah.
Lauren's never happy.
No.
Apart from when she's proving one of us wrong. Or being right.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, which is very rare on both occasions, to be honest. Hello there, it's Declan. We had an issue with our brand new audio software that we were using. And that meant that the audio got a bit weird after here, which obviously isn't ideal for a podcast. So I'm going to just narrate over what we were going to talk about. It was just the Mugello predictions, so it's nothing too serious. But I'm just going to run through them quickly with you now, so you have them, and we're going to not use that audio software ever again because it sucks. So Moto3, myself and Lauren went for David Alonso and pole. Cameron went for Munoz. In third place, Cameron and Lauren went Ortola. I went Via. Second, I went Rueda, Cameron Via, Lauren Holgado. And then we all went for David Alonso to win at Mugello, which is not surprising, really. In Moto 2, I went Garcia for pole, Cameron Aldeguer, and Lauren Lopez. In third place, Lauren went Lopez, I went Garcia, Cameron went Marcos Ramirez. Second, I went Aldeguer, Cameron Garcia, Lauren Roberts. And then for the win, Lauren went Garcia, Cameron went Aldeguer, and I went Agura. Finally, in MotoGP, pole position, I went for Martin, Cameron Vinales, and Lauren Bagnaia. We all went for Martin to win the sprint race, which again isn't surprising. Then in the main race, Lauren went for Didier on third, Cameron Marc Marquez, and then I went for Acosta third. In second, I went Bagnaia, Cameron went Martin, Lauren Acosta. Me and Lauren went for Marc Marquez to win, and Cameron went for Bagnaia. So yeah, sorry for my rushed overlay here, but yeah, we won't be using that software again. And we just ended the podcast after that point. So thank you very much for listening, and we're back next time. Goodbye.